And now, through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future, Transformers Slag Podcast. What's up, everybody? How we all doing? My goodness, this Saturday night, it's a Transformers Slag Podcast in our live stream main event. I am your host, Proto Man. I am the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday, and it is quite the Saturday. It is quite the Saturday. We have quite a bit to talk about Transformer-wise. It's funny, like Monday, Tuesday, we had like zero. There was just like no news. And I was kind of hoping like some of that Nuremberg Toy Fair stuff might leak out, and we just had nothing. And then it just all got dumped on us. And we got tons of stuff to talk about today. We got some cool stuff in the P.O. box. We got some cool stuff in the mail. We picked up some stuff this weekend. So we're going to have a fun live stream tonight. So let's jump into it. Mikey and Louie is here. How we all doing? Who else do we got in the chat? Brandon Miller. We got Mike Prime 21. Patrick Brown. What's up? Fawn Hart. James Hopkins. Tom Laney. Will Murphy. Horndowl. What's up? The twins are here. What's up, twins? I'll be seeing you in Toronto soon. Are you going to be going to TFcon LA? I didn't get the confirmation on that one. Brainstorm 2002 is here. Rudimac. Gooter. Ashnut is here. T-Formers 2002, who will be at TFcon LA. WS. I hope I'm not missing nobody. I don't want to miss nobody. Grant Brown. Who else? Dia, DK, El Kevo. Mick D. Roman Schilling. And more people are piling in. Now, time of the end. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Decepticon for life. What's up? Got Star Max, one of my patrons. We are doing good. So, shall we? Got a lot to cover. It's going to be a long one. Hopefully we don't run too long. Giggity. Cringe McCringle, what's up? And we're going to start first with some Earthspark because, love or hate the show, I'm happy how these toys turned out. Yeah, I got a lot of water with me. It's going to be one of those days, let me tell you. So first up, we got Transformers Earthspark Deluxe Class hashtag, an upgrade of what we've gotten here in the West up to this point. We had that Chase and Crash Combine, whatever version she had, and then Japan took that one and retooled it, and they did their version of a deluxe, which was pretty good. But I think we won out in the end with this one, unless Japan takes this one and does an even better paint scheme. So the Deluxe Class of hashtag here, she looks great. The kibble that was on the legs originally are completely gone and engineered properly into the legs. Got that very, dare I say, animated Rodimus sleekness to the engineering and design. Looks really good. She has the bow accessory. I didn't notice this the last time I talked about it, but looking carefully at her other hand, she actually also comes with the gun that came exclusively with her Takara Japanese version. So she comes with even more accessories. So she's really good. What's up, Larry? Transformatics, what's up? Joshua's here too. Wow, everyone's piling it. You know what? Today's going to be a big one. But yeah, hashtag is awesome. I love her as a character. I think she's great. Maybe she doesn't even need, I hope she's one of those characters that are kind of like Windblade, where she shows up in one segmentation of the brand, but because she becomes so popular that she ends up in other segmentations, like a Bulkhead. Bulkhead's another good example. Really kind of debuted and animated and found his way elsewhere. So I'm kind of hoping. I'm really kind of hoping that we end up with Amy. Amy, what's up? Thank you for subscribing. But yeah, I'm really hoping that like she ends up elsewhere because Earthspark's on its way out, but this is a character that really is a modern version of a Transformer character, connected to a network, internet, There's and she's a fun element to it. So I dig her. I kind of hope we see more of her. I kind of hope we get better figures of her. In all honesty, this is pretty good, but give me the clear visor. Give me some more paint. Japan, let's see what you could do on your end, and we will see. What's up, Rodimus Power from Germany? What's up? What's up? What's up, Ninjatron? How you doing, man? And yeah, so I'm excited about her. So this one is going to be 19.99. Apparently, is going to be shipping out in June of 2025. But again, those are I think the this was comicbook.com that had the listings, so it might be earlier, might be sooner. So we will see. And then this is the one that everyone was really excited about. I know I'm excited about the hashtag, but this one is this is good regardless if you like Cyberverse or not. Excuse me, not Cyberverse. Cyberverse is actually very good. Earthspark or not. Man, this Soundwave, this Transformers Deluxe Class Earthspark Soundwave this thing looks amazing. This like if you loved the Cybertron Galaxy Force Soundwave, if you loved like other iterations of him throughout the years that were like just not tape cassettes, this thing knocks it out of the park. This looks incredible. Comes with his little blaster that apparently has a little peg on his shoulder, so it could also be used like a shoulder cannon, like his traditional G1 design. He looks great. Where was this Wave One? Like this figure should have been right there at the beginning when Earthspark started as a brand. This should have been there from the beginning. It's the same mistake, unfortunately, that Cyberverse did, where the line and the show had run its course and then they start putting out good figures, which is like that's kind of crazy. So, but yeah, he looks great too. Doesn't come with a cassette, but it is what it is. But he still looks amazing. They managed to pack all that like detail and everything. I can't imagine how much Japan could improve on this one. This one looks great. I mean, even from a paint like detail, the little red on his forearms there, the little circles, those are there on the feet. So, stuff that normally like, let's say Hasbro with their limited budget when it comes to a deluxe class from that price point, they might have to save in paint deco applications or apps, but they're there. So fantastic. Love it. Looks great. Also going to be 19.99 and supposedly a summer 2025 release date. So pretty cool on that. And then the last one here, where I'm kind of hot and cold on it. We have the Transformers Earthspark Optimus Prime with battle trailer. Kind of a skinny trailer that opens up to make the big blaster. The big blaster was featured in season 2, so I appreciate, the show accuracy and storytelling element of that. The Optimus Prime that comes with it is actually a less decoed deluxe class Optimus Prime. So if you want like the best version in the West, you can might as well just get the deluxe, like the actual deluxe, because this one here has less paint on it. It actually doesn't have paint on the fenders of the front of the legs and little areas in the robot mode, in the alt mode. So kind of sucks there. Doesn't come with his accessory too. Doesn't come with his Energon axe. That's also kind of nixed out of it for a budget standpoint. Has 2 spring-loaded missiles. Kind of screen accurate in the case of on the inside anyhow, in how it was featured in the show. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm kind of hot or cold on this, and this is going to be $39.99. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be a clearance item later on. You could get that trailer, and then you could get the Japanese version of the deluxe class Optimus Prime, and then make your perfect version. So either way, I think it looks interesting, but not it's not completely there in my opinion. Mikey Louie, that is a tall trailer. Yeah, tall and skinny, kind of like me, you know, which is not a good thing. You don't want tall and skinny. Tall and skinny with a lot of paint deco. Yeah. And is ready to shoot off at any point. Oh, it is really like me. Jeez, giggity. Rodimus Power with the YouTube member question. How many pay in Canada for Lioness is 350 and oh, how much was well we'll get to Lio Kaiser in a moment, Rodimus Power, don't worry. That'll definitely be the conversation soon enough, trust me. But yeah, then we got this guy here. This is the Synergenex next entry, although nothing really too major. The Monster Hunter Leolias Prime that we were shown, or Leolias Convoy, that was shown back in September of last year. Apparently, that pre-ordered extremely well with the Japanese market. Now they're going to be doing the rare silver variant. And when I say rare silver variant, I'm referring to within the Monster Hunter game, this dragon character, the Rathlios or Rathios, um, this thing had a silver variant and a gold variant, and those are like the harder ones to get. So it's kind of based off of that. So it looks like it's just a straight up silver repaint of the Liolius Prime that we got before. And yeah, so hey, if you're excited about that, that's going to be happening very soon in terms of pre-orders, because that's starting. I believe the pre-orders are going to be starting just before Valentine's Day, and then we'll see what happens after that. No price yet, but probably the same price like the other one. It was about $50 if I remember correctly, the original. So if you're interested in this, I love Monster Hunter. It's a really good game. I don't know if I need two Liolius Primes, even the silver variant, but it's still fair. It's still interesting that it shows the, how do I explain this? It shows how much of a popular game it is for Capcom in Japan for this to get a repaint. So at least it shows that much. Very cool. Yeah, good point, Cragger. Yeah, it's like an Ultra Magnus, if anything. Or what was it called there? The special metal armor for Return of Optimus Prime. That special alloy. You know? Good call. Good call. And then of course, let's get into some of the panel stuff. Actually, let's get some water in me. Want to turn it into a badass silver bolt. I could see that. I could see that. Very cool. So then, let's talk about the singing shark. One of our many different items for Age of the Primes that were revealed to us for the first time outside of box art that was shown a few months ago. We have here the Age of the Primes Voyager class robots in disguise, Skybite or Gel Shark for car robot fans. Looks really good. Don't get me wrong. Looks great. In all honesty, it's like it's kind of the same vibe that I have with our Haslab Omega Prime. Those original toys were so good that it's like, how do you improve those original toys? Maybe a little bit more articulation in one or two areas. Like obviously this one has ankle tilts, so it's like, okay, the original didn't have ankle tilts, I'll give it that. But I mean, really when you put it next to the original has slightly more paint decos in the shark mode. This one has slightly more articulation, but they're both great figures. And Gel Shark, aka Skybite, is a very popular character. It won the Hall of Fame voting in 2023, so this is obviously the result of that Hall of Fame voting. And I mean, I think it looks great. I think it looks great, but I mean, anyone who owns that original Skybite, look at that shark mode and all the paint deco that was put on it. Like, there's no way a modern toy with the paint app budget that they have today could pull that off of what Hasbro was cooking back in like 2001, 2000. And Takara too, Takara Tomy. Well, it was Takara at the time. The Tomy merge hadn't happened yet. But he still looks great. And the way that I look at it is, hey, the original toy was 25 years ago, so this is a modern opportunity to go on the shelves and pick one up for like its MSRP of what, $34.99, where I don't know what a Skybite goes for. I'd have to check, but definitely probably 50 at this point complete. So Alden Tolbert with the $5 super chat. Happy 10th anniversary to Combiner Wars. Missed them already. Are you getting Lio Kaiser? Oh, we'll get into Lio Kaiser in the moment. Combiner Wars was actually when I first started to do professional work with Hasbro from the copy standpoint. So I have a soft place in my heart for Combiner Wars. My first true official gig with Hasbro was fun publication stuff for Zap Trap and what was that other one there? BitCheat and Zap Trap. They just needed me to write a More Than Meets the Eye bio for a comic book. So that was like the first gig I did. And then I did copyright stuff for a majority of the deluxes of Combiner Wars, the Lio Kaiser. I could tell a Lio Kaiser story afterwards about Combiner Wars Lio Kaiser because I had a lot to do with the copy with that one. Again, shout out to Emiliano, shout out to Jesse from Hasbro, all those guys that I worked with back then. Both of them no longer with the company. That's just how the world is, unfortunately. But yeah, Great stuff, great stuff. But we'll definitely talk about. Again, I always had a soft spot for Combiner Wars. I know a lot of people are now going to be replacing their Combiner Wars toys, unfortunately, with better versions that will be coming out. But they're still cool. They're still cool, and there's fun stuff. It's just the evolution of toy, as I always say. And speaking of anniversaries, how old were you when this came out originally? No, I'm just joking. The original. So this is, of course, Age of the Primes, Voyager class Rescue Bots Heatwave. Um, 14 years ago, the original Rescue Bot. Man, I should have got the original Heatwave toy and bring it on the screen because I collected all the Rescue Bots because they were so cheap and easy to get because no one wanted them. And I bought Heatwave day one because I thought he was just so wacky. And he shared a trademark with a BotCon exclusive at the time, one part of Nexus Prime, no less, the centerpiece. And I was just like, man, this guy's wacky. And 14 years later, this guy gets a modernized update that is very loyal. I know some people are going, wow, look how blocky he is. This is slavishly loyal to the source material. Let's put it that way. And it looks great. It looks absolutely fantastic. And it's crazy to think about it that, you could have Rescue Bots fans who were like 5 years old when Rescue Bots came out, and now they're like 19. Now they're behind the wheel of a car. Some of them might even have, families now. Who knows? Some of them are drinking, depending on where you are in the world. And now they have nostalgia for the Transformers they grew up with. And hey, I'm all for that. I love different stuff. I love fresh stuff. You can't sell people Prowl and, tracks and Optimus Prime a million times over. You got to update some of these other newer ideas. And I'm cool with that. And, yeah, did I grow up with rescue bots? No, I didn't. Far from it. I was already losing my hair by the time rescue bots came out. So, but it's just, it's something where I dig it. I think it's great. I think it's super that even that demographic is able to get some love for them. And I'm kind of curious what repaints could come out of this. There's a few ideas that I have in my head, but I'm kind of curious to see what is on the sprue of that mold at Hasbro for repaints and retools in the future. There's a few good stuff going on here. Decepticon for Life, you gave a $10 super chat, gold super chat. Ask a question, brother. Oh, there it is down there. Meant to say in the super chat, totally looking forward to Starscream Optimus 2-pack. Oh, we're going to talk about that very soon, my friend, for sure. We're going to be covering all the news. Don't worry about that. We got so much. Thank you for the gold super chat, for sure. But yeah, hey, this guy's great, and I'm hoping now I think like we could probably get Boulder, maybe out of one of the Constructicon guys. Like they could probably do like a Voyager class out of one of the Constructicon limbs, get a Boulder out of it. And then at some point, we're going to get some kind of helicopter with Defensor for Blades, and then they'll do a Blades retool into the Blades and Rescue Bots. And that'll be great. And I have all the human figures. I bought those a long time ago, so makes for some good photography. It's a great thing. Great thing. I love it. I love it. I think it's great. Sign me up for more. Sign me up for more. And then they gave us the space bridge. And it kind of reconfirms a little bit stuff because yeah, all of these guys that we have here, we saw listings of them. And while the listings could give us a better indication of what we're getting, some of them, because of how names are shared with certain characters, it leads to an obscurity. And then you go like, oh, I don't know, maybe it'll be this guy, maybe it'll be that guy. But what we got here, we got Excellion, because it's clearly the Excellion colors of Hotshot from Galaxy Force, aka Cybertron, which is interesting that they're going with the Hot Rod repaint first. But I guess because, they'll go with the Hot Rod repaint first, a red car, and then they'll figure out a way to do something else afterwards. I know Aaron Archer in the past has talked about sometimes you don't want to have the same colors of vehicles on the shelf at the same time. Like you don't want to have like two blue cars together, right? So when just to jump ahead here, we have like that Decepticon ground trooper from the Devastation video game. That's a blue car. So if if the Excellion would have been the blue Hotshot Cybertron, you'd have two blue sports cars on the shelf at the same time in the same wave. So it makes sense. It makes sense. go with the red one first, you'll do the blue one later. That's how you do things. It makes sense. And I mean, I'm down for picking up the red one anyways because it was a hot rod homage. So put the flames on it, give it a yellow spoiler, or actually it was an orange spoiler originally, but a blue spoiler actually on the clear, and then I swapped it. But it is what it is. And it's funny actually because I think that one had three different versions. It had the red Excellion, which was a DVD exclusive in Japan. Then we had the flame covered Excellion, which was available here in America. And then we had the Hot Shot in red legend scale. So that figure that has no fiction outside of what's on packaging had three different figures. So that character, anyhow, even though it's called Excellion, which was the Japanese name of Hotshot. I'm going into the weeds here. I apologize for the rambling. What's up, David? Mototron, what's up? But yeah, and then we got Noise Maze, aka Sideways. Good way to keep the trademark alive. Got to keep that Sideways trademark going. So we're going to be getting the Cybertron version of him. This guy had like three different repaints in Japan. They had like the I think it was called the mass produced Noise Maze in white and blue. So pretty cool. What they're gonna do with that from a retool, I don't know, because that's like a weird kind of spaceship. I'm pretty sure there's something I'm forgetting that's not off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there's a weird Cybertronian spaceship that you could probably do some kind of retool from and have fun with that. I mean, the retools and the partials that they do now are so crazy that who knows what it could be. Definitely. But yeah, and then we got Sandstorm and we got Slugslinger. Um, the Sandstorm, I think it's just going to be a more screen accurate version from the one that we got already. The Slugslinger, hey, it's just keep that trademark going. Let's do another Slugslinger. And then here's one that's exciting: UK Iron Fist. That's very cool. I mean, that's one going back to the fun publication days. Like they did two different Iron Fist figures, and both of them had to be called Fistatron because they just couldn't use the Iron Fist trademark. Because at the time you had Marvel with their Iron Fist stuff, and they were working on the TV series. So with I think it was, yeah, I think it was the TV series at the time. So they wanted to kind of like make sure to keep that separate. So they had Fistatron, they had the animated one, and then they did a fun publication version, which was kind of leaning onto what the Wreckers version was, but not really. So, it is what it is. But I mean, I'm kind of curious how this one turns out. Are they just going to take like Ironhide and not Ironhide, the Hound that we got and just do a major partial on it? Or are we going to get a brand new tooling from the ground up? I hope a brand new tooling, but still very cool. And then Carnivac, I mean, don't tease me with some pretender shells in this image here, because I would love it if we get some pretender shells, especially beast pretender shells, but I doubt it. We're probably just gonna get maybe just a robot mode and a beast alt mode. But I mean, don't put those pretender shells in that image there, Evan, or whoever was in charge of taking the photos here, because that's just brutal. Mm, that is just brutal. Rudy Mack with the YouTube member question: Carnivac equals 2 times more space used up in my display. Well, assuming that they have the pretender shell. That's assuming, Rudy Mack. I really hope it does, but my gut tells me unless this is like a Voyager scale or something, it's just going to be a deluxe class that transforms into the beast. It's going to be like Iguanus and stuff like that. So we will see. We will see. And then we got our two Devastation Studio Series figures here. We got the Decepticon Ground Trooper and the Decepticon Air Trooper. Um, Not much really I could say. I do love the fact that they used some art here with the Air Trooper that has the swords. So it's something where will they, do an extensive repaint of the cone heads and then give some extra accessories to make it unique? Are they going to do some new tooling, maybe a new face, maybe some different wings just to break it up and make it unique also? We'll see what the budget, gives them for that. And then, of course, we got a Studio Series multi-pack of the Perceptor, which I imagine is just going to be a repaint of the one that we've already gotten, along with, of course, Ratbat and Ramhorn, which we're completing our cassettes in a better shape or form. Run Blaster, save yourself. That's pretty much what that set's going to be. And it's kind of funny because they're kind of starting to phase out the background cardboards, so it's not going to have that background. But we will see. We will see. Uh, Let's take a look at what we got here. Evan confirmed no Pretender shell. Ah, that's a shame. See, there you go. That's what I figured, unfortunately. That's unfortunately what I figured. It's, you know what? Kojin Ono. Kojin Ono, who's like one of the grandfathers of Transformers. He works on the Masterpiece line a lot. And he said that every time they work on a new masterpiece, he always brings up, hey, could we do Pretender shells? Can we do like Metal Hawk? And he said all the other people in the design team go like, they cringe. They kind of go like, I don't know. And so if Metal Hawk is having a hard time getting a Pretender shell and being made into a product, that tells me it's going to be even harder for like the lower tier Pretender stuff. Like, I mean, at least like Bludgeon for the Western side and obviously the UK, like at least Bludgeon could get some representation with the armor or any or something. But like some of the lower tier guys, and I love those lower tier guys, whether it be the Dino King dudes or, Monstructor or Landmine, aka Lander, and you got Crossblades there, and there's all the Pretenders, all of them there. I love Master Force, so I kind of have a bit of a bias, but I love those dudes. But apparently, even within Takara internal, there's a little bit of a push and pull from like big names in the company, even having a tough time. Um, so it is what it is. Um, where we at? Where we at? Where we at? So next one, we got these guys, which are exciting. So we got the return of the timelines segmentation. Haven't heard that one in a while. Oh, Butters, what's up? Let's get Butters over here. You want to come join us? Looks like Butters is going to be joining us. Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait for him. But yeah, so Transformers timelines. This is something that I have not seen in a while. That name. It was originally something that Fun Publications. Oh, Butters, you want to come up? There we go. Ugh. People haven't seen you in a while. Up here. So the timelines is a segmentation trademark that originally existed with Fun Publication. It was used as a way to go, hey, we're going to celebrate all the different stuff that's going on within the Transformers brand and kind of mishmash them together. And it started in 2005 with Fun Publication. We had Japanese stuff. We had like, all kinds of wacky, weird things here and there. And now they've brought it back after, geez, I want to say it stopped in around 2016, so almost on its 10th anniversary at this point. They finally brought it back, the timelines, and they're going to use it to use some of those unique designs. And all of these are Guido Guidi designs. And I want to give a shout out to Guido Guidi, very talented designer, comic book designer, Hasbro dude, and everything. He worked on a lot of other designs throughout the years, and Guido has always been a really cool dude. And all of these were done by Guido all those years ago through the Hearts of Steel comic book series through IDW. It was a 4-issue limited run. Go out of your way to read it. Really good series. Very fantastic. A lot of unique designs on there. Just even outside of all these Steam designs, just a lot of crazy stuff going on. And man, Hasbro nailed it, especially with that Megatron. Like, I like how, the Starscream's cool, the Optimus is cool, and I love my Steam trains. Like the fact that we're getting Steam trains is great. I mean, I already talked about it in my Discord. I'm kind of hoping that maybe they'll do some connection points or hook points. So we could have like a whole like actual train of a whole bunch of characters. But I mean, that Megatron, my goodness, I did not expect that Megatron to turn out as good as it did. Like that is incredible. I know all people want their gun Megatrons, they want this, but this cannon Megatron is fantastic. Bucket black head like the comic books, the spiked wheels, like incredible how they were able to take that Guido Guidi design and transform it into an action figure. And Guido, when he did all these designs, he designed them with the intention of possibly getting product at some point. And third party guys did this and that back in the day. I remember, geez, I want to say like 10 plus years ago, we had like a third party Hearts of Steel Optimus Prime, and they did a few others. I think the Bumblebee too they did, and the Shockwave. But I mean, the Megatron, my goodness, this came out incredible. Very hyped about this. I love that it comes in these 2 packs with a slip case, and they open up really nice. So these are going to be Hasbro Pulse exclusives. So it's also kind of continuing the tradition of what the Timelines line was before, where before we had convention and online exclusives through Timelines. Now they're going to keep them as Hasbro Pulse exclusives here, which is kind of the same vibe. And nice little box set, just like the Timeline stuff was back in the day. Slipcase, opens like a book, has 2 figures in them. Very, very, very cool. Very cool. I'm hyped about these. These look great. You know, Butters, you want to get up on the couch? You can do it, dude. There you go. He's chilling on the back. You might see him in the reflection over there. But yeah, so very excited about this. Very, very excited. Happy about it. Um, Someone said in the chats, I forgot who it was, Thomas the Tank Engine. Man, if they take that Bumblebee and they do a partial of it, because I know there was a third party one named Steve. I think it was Steve, right? Um, if they do a official Thomas the Tank Engine crossover, I will lose my. That'll be amazing. That will be who Mattel has it right now, the trademark or the master toy license. I think it's Mattel that does the Thomas stuff right now. I mean, that would be incredible. Do with the Bumblebee. I know the Bumblebee's kind of Percy scaled for people who know their Thomas lore, but I mean, my goodness. Oh my goodness. It would be so hype. It would be so hype if they did that. That'd be so cool. You could tell I like trains, eh? Kevin PH with the $2 super chat. There's people who really believe that Hasbro is dying. Nah, Hasbro's not dying, man. You know what? There's one slide that I didn't do here today. I'm going to talk about it afterwards, and it's a little bit of inside baseball stuff that's going on with Hasbro with the future. And dying is not the word. Let's put it this way. Mattel does have Thomas. That's why I figured Ashnod. Yeah. But yeah, these are great. Super hyped about them. They're supposed to come out in fall of 2025. The Optimus Starscream is up for pre-order now. The Megatron Bumblebee will be on pre-order later. So very cool. Very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. Um, but yeah, Cringeman Kringle, you and me both, Proto. I'd lose my mind over a Thomas crossover. Damn right. Damn right. And it's funny because like me and Aaron Archer, we did a panel at TFcon, and we were talking about how like, oh man, steam engines, they're so hard to do. Like people like the last time we ever have a steam engine, it's always Astro Train. And then like, yeah, hey, you want some Guido Guidi designs of steam engines? Let's do it. And I mean, I hope that they do more. I hope that these sell extremely well and we get the shockwave, we get the ratchet so we can get an extra piece for the train. Like there's a lot of cool designs. Of course, the Starscream, it's a seeker jet. So all the repaints you could do from that. I mean, great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. So let's get into it. The main event, the elephant in the room, the Gattai. Let's talk about the next Haslab that is going to be Lio Kaiser. Now, I will give my opinion on a design standpoint, on everything like that, and then the opinion of the price. And those are 2 separate conversations. You could love an item for its design and how great it is and everything. Number one, full disclosure, I love Transformers Victory. I, love that series, geez, since like 1998 when I first watched like badly real player non-subtitled episodes off of Rockman 666's website. Shout out to Rockman 666 back in the day of the Transformer fandom. That was how I watched a lot of my Japanese episodes, Transformers Zone and everything. He had these really low quality, like no joke, you're staring at a screen that like it was probably like the size of like a credit card of an episode in super low quality on Real Player, which is a format that doesn't even exist today anymore. And I loved Lio Kaiser. Super cool. Great design. I love the fact that it was a little of a hard edge series. I love that, Hellbat was this character that was skeezy. will do anything to like be on the team. I love it. And I love how this came out because I own the original Lio Kaiser. And that is a figure you do not mess with. Because the moment you attach, Kill Bison to that leg, you get worried about like, man, I can never uncombine this thing ever again because Kill Bison has GPS all over him. It's a tough figure to collect and own. And then they did a model kit through Kabaya, which the colors are all off on that one, so I don't suggest that one. They did a PVC, which it is what it is. It's a PVC, so it has no articulation through the SEF PVC line. And then this dummy worked on the copy of the Combiner Wars one, which had its own stories, which I'll get into later on if you want to hear them. But at the end of the day, we finally got a great update of him. I think these are all Voyager scale in terms of pricing because at the end of the day, they all have to kind of have the breast master. I know they want to call them chest masters, but I'll never call it that. They have the breast masters, which have to be like little extra target masters at the end of the day that combine. It's a target master that's also a power master in a way. That's how I always kind of saw breast masters. So, you kind of add that extra element to it. So you have these Voyagers that have these little target master elements to them, and it's a combiner. So you also have to sometimes have pieces that, are extra to it that lead to that normally wouldn't be part of the figure. Give an example. Kill Bison, that's supposed to be a leg where that foot piece that pops out would normally not be tooled into a figure. It would just be, it has a robot mode and that's it. But now it has to have an extra piece. It has to have an extra hinge. It has to have an extra pin. And so that adds to the budget. It makes sense. These are Voyagers. Totally. That's the way that I see it from a budget standpoint. But that being said, if they're Voyagers, then you're talking something that, you know, it still puts it at like $210 if you're talking retail. And that gets into the deeper conversation that I always talk about with the Hasbro, Hasbro Pulse tax, which is like, oh, it's a Hasbro Pulse item. Yeah, add another $60. Snell's World with the $5 super chat. Thanks for the inspection. I'm going back to collecting the original Marvel Transformers run. Oh man, great! It's a great run. I would suggest, my friend, get the later issues first because they're more expensive, and then worry about the earlier issues later on. Like issues like 5 to like 35, they're like so plentiful that if you ain't paying like $2 to $5 a piece, mint, you're getting ripped off. But the later issues, issue 75, issue 80, different story. Best of luck to you, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, getting back into Lio Kaiser and Lyzak and Guy and all of these guys, Hellbat and Dragura. I don't even want to get into that one. That was a trademark nightmare. Even Evan talked about it briefly. I remember he was saying because he worked on Creo when this guy was put in there. I'll get into that story in a whole other, you know, in a whole other thing. But I mean, if you factor this in that it's 6 Voyagers, then it puts you at, $210, $220, 230 at best. Um, but that's where it's like, and I've said this before too, I feel that the price that we're always given with these Haslabs is with the intention that all the backing is already caked into it. So like all the other extras. And one of those extras, in my opinion, is amazing. I love it to death. The fact that we're getting a Death Cobra, I mean, that's incredible. I love whoever did the photography for the robot mode is clearly invoking that old trading card art from back in the day. That art right there is from a trading card that came with TFcon magazine back in the day of Death Cobra. So that's whoever like Google imaged that one and then went, "Hey, that's a nice photo of Death Cobra. We're gonna homage that shot there." So with the package art and everything. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, the fact that we're getting a Death Cobra is incredible. This guy showed up in one episode and then was quickly killed off. We never really got to know his whole history. We just knew that he just thought, Hellbat was a piece of trash. And then Hellbat randomly shot and managed to get the death kill on him. And Death Cobra truly was death. And that was that. And he comes with his little Cobra Cobra Breast, which we never got to see in beast mode. We only saw it in gun mode. So obviously this is, an interpretation of what it probably looked like, but we're going to be getting that too. Helicopter mode, the fact that he turns into the cannon, if you want to have him, like Seacon style or God Neptune style, you want to have like a sixth, seventh member as an accessory because you can't attach him to the hardcore figure. Yeah, have him as a cannon, sure. Or you can make him as the left arm like Death Cobra, like Hellbat. It's cool. I love it. Me personally, I'm gonna have it as traditional Lio Kaiser, and I'll have Death Cobra in robot mode, chilling in front of him, doing like a cool pose with the gun and everything. Because I'm just super stoked that he even has a figure. Because he was like a deep cut, like a super like Lio Kaiser is like if you had to do like deep cuts in Transformers, right? So you got like okay, the Optimuses, the Legendary Seven, those are the obvious ones. The tier twos of the Shockwaves, the Prowls, the Jazzes, the tier threes are more like the 86 characters of the Cups and the Hot Rods. And then you go down that list and you get into like, obviously the dark ages of G1 when you start getting into like, let's say, Pretender Shells and doing those characters, or even like Micromasters or Power Masters. Hey, we're going to do Joyride. But then you get to the Japanese characters, and yeah, the Star Sabers, the Diatlases, the Metal Hawks. But then you get into the lesser Japanese characters, like the Dino Kings and that. And then you get into the lesser one episode Japanese characters that never had any figures, that didn't appear in mangas. And it's like, wow, like that to me, that's what wins me over, as silly as that sounds. Like to get Death Cobra, that's all that matters. If we didn't get Death Cobra, I would not be happy about this set, in all honesty. As much as I love Lio Kaiser, this is the winning portion of that. So as long as we get Death Cobra, I'm happy. But I feel like again, the price already factored in now. Okay, we're not talking like 6 Voyagers now. We're talking 7 Voyagers, you know? So we're talking 7 Voyagers now. So, okay. So now we went from, oh, all right, so $230 if it was a retail item. You add another Voyager in there. Okay, now we're up to like 260, let's say. But then it's like, okay. And this is the one where I'm kind of like, it's like, are we going to count this as part of the price too? No, it's not this one. So it's like, okay, the electromagnetic nunchucks, that should have been something that's included with the figure, like that, like each piece of those guys in the perfect world, like each piece of these nunchucks, excuse me, would have been like included with each limb, each member of the team. Like if it was retail, like you buy, Hellbat and one piece of that nunchuck is included. Like that's how it would have been, but apparently that's a backer unlockable goal. And you guys know how I feel about stands. I mean, some people love stands, some people hate them, but if they add to the cost, I rather they not be there at all. So it's something where even if we have 7 Voyagers, that puts us at like 260, maybe 270, and then you're just squeezing another $30 out of people. And you might say, "Oh, it's just $30, Proto Man." Yeah, but when it's $30 across 10,000 people, 20,000 people, 30,000 people, it's a lot of money. But they know what they're doing. They're trying to make their money. And currently, right now, and of course, this might have gone up since then, they're already at, right now, when you think about it, they're already at 4,092 backers. So when you're talking this thing at $300 right now a piece, it's something where you go, they know what they're doing. Because you got like a situation that I wonder how far this will go. Can they get 13,000 people to back this so we at least get, Death Cobra? Is there FOMO? Is there people that maybe they don't want to engage with this, but because they also don't want to like have bad feels afterwards? And then that ends up making them go, oh, I wish I got this, and now it's like $1,000 in the secondary market. The Unicron price sticker scares a lot of people, where people who didn't get Unicron thinking it was too expensive, and now he's like 1,500. And we will see. Right now, El Kevo, it's at 4,123. Okay, so it went up a little bit. It went up a little bit since then, but it's something that, to me, you know, you go like, okay, so let's say 1,000, you know, 4,100 across 300. Already Hasbro right now at that 4,000 mark has made over $1 million. It's about 1,200,300, something like that. So it's pretty wild. They've already at that $1 million point with just the 4,000 that they could lock in and sit on. But when you think about it, that extra $30 that they're getting per person, instead of doing it as a retail product, when you think about it across 4,000 people, that extra $30 gives them like 120K, you know? So when you do the math, like, it's the Haslab tax. Because at the end of the day, already on retail, we're going to be getting Voyagers with some deluxes, but Voyager scaled esque kind of limbs and everything for our Devastator. And it's not that much more complicated. And the Devastator has a whole bunch of extra pieces. Yes, Lio Kaiser has some extra pieces too. He's going to have that electromagnetic thing in the stand. But again, I don't like it when stuff like that happens. When they go, okay, we know it's a premium item. We could ask more, even though that's not the case. It's like, and the way I always compare it to, it's like, imagine if you had a case assortment of Voyagers, right? Or a case, let's do deluxes, because that would be four characters per that case. And imagine in that deluxe assortment, you had an Optimus Prime, you had a Bumblebee, you had a Jazz, and then you had a weird guy. Let's go with let's go really weird. Let's go with I don't know. Let's go with Road Rage. Not we're not going with Tracks. We're going with Road Rage, the red female repaint. You know, and it's like, imagine if Hasbro went, okay, Optimus, Bumblebee, and Jazz, they're going to be the $24.99 deluxe class price point. But this deluxe, because it's the obscure one and the weird one, we're going to be asking $34 for this one because it's the harder one to sell. And that's not how toy manufacturing works. But because Haslab is a unique item and it's not an MSRP retail space, they say like, oh, well, it has to be this price, it has to be this price, it has to be this number. But the reality is when you crunch the numbers, and this is something I could never show publicly, but I was lucky many years ago to get from a Kenner employee the order sheets for Beast Wars products back in the day from factories. And through those, because unfortunately I can't disclose them because it would get him in trouble because there's a little bit of legality with that. But it's wild how cheap the manufacturing of Transformer toys are. Let's put it that way. This was for mega class Beast Wars stuff back in the day. That's all I'll say. I don't want to go any deeper in that because that might identify him. No longer with Kenner anymore, but still. Point is that it's wild how cheap the manufacturing is. And when you factor in, it's like, well, this is going to be a limited number item. Brother, let me tell you something. There's not even 10,000 or let alone 13,000 Titan classes out there. So to use the excuse of like limited production number thing, there's not even 10,000 to 13,000 Nemesises out there. Maybe the Ark, because the Ark was overproduced, but the Nemesis, Tidal Wave, nope, not even close. Not even close. Okay. So I hate that argument of like limited production run, specialty. The fact that it's being done in a Kickstarter nature is they already know what the ceiling is for how much they need to ask for to make profit from this. And then they ask more. Again, I think it's a great product. I know it sounds like I'm ragging on it. I think this thing is awesome. It's a dream. It's amazing, but I don't appreciate it when they try to get a little extra out of the fans because of FOMO, because of, let's be real, some Transformer fans, there's a little bit of that OCD that exists, and they don't want to, well, I got this, so I got to get that, and that little, mental thing going on in their head, oh, well, I mean, it's only $30, right? But that's not cool to do that to the fans. In a world where the toy hobby is becoming more and more adult based, and they're really trying to shift away from that, where they're going like, well, since we know now it's not for kids and we know it's adults with credit cards, and they're going to pay those credit cards, we're going to ask more, even though we could ask less. And it gets deep into the whole conversation of we got to make sure our shareholders are happy, so we got to show better profit margins. And again, I'm not throwing shade at anyone who worked on this product, because I think it was Kuni Harusan that worked on the original. So I wouldn't be surprised if he worked on this one with Evan and Mark. But I mean, it's a great product. I just don't like it when they try to squeeze every penny out of the fans that feed you guys. I'm going to be fine. That extra $30, $40, that's not going to change my life, you know? But some other fans, and I've met these fans, they sometimes can't afford 10 bucks, 20 bucks, but they want to be able to engage with this product because they really like Lio Kaiser. They bought a DVD box set, they watched the episodes online, they want to own this character. And that's where it's kind of, it sucks. And going to what T-Former said, by it being a Haslab item, we're never going to get Rescue Force from this, which is some of those members, which you could barely see him. There's what Lio Zach would have been. Rescue Force 1, the jet. And then you can't see because the bar here is covering them, but the other members are there too. Um, but like, we're never going to get those because now it's a Lio, it's a that kind of item. So it kind of sucks. Jake, does Hasbro have to pay licensing to Car for this as well? No, no, that hasn't. They have a partnership that's existed all this time. The only time licensing has ever come up, and I still haven't confirmed this, is when it's an anime exclusive character or something. But even then, that's kind of hit or miss. It has to be an anime exclusive character that doesn't transform, like that's more of a human character. For something like Death Cobra is fine, but then like something like Moon, like not Moon, Artemis from Beast Wars Second, or some of the other human characters. Apparently, that's a difficult thing where you have to go to Toei or whatever. But I don't honestly. I'll be honest with you, full transparency. I don't know the legality of that. It's never come up for me, because like I think about like Transmutate. Transmutate had like two figures, and I'm pretty sure no one was paying licensing to Rainmaker Mainframe Entertainment. So I don't know. I'd have to talk to Aaron about that, because he was still with Hasbro when they did the Beast Wars stuff. So Mototron Prime with $2 super chat. Proto, do you think Road Caesar would be a Haslab too? Again, out of all the Victory stuff, Road Caesar would be my go-to. I love Road Caesar. That's one of my favorite combiners of all time. But again, why can't that be a retail item? It's three race cars, three very unique race cars that you could turn into other characters later on if you don't want to go down the UK route and just do those repaints. But, you know, like those are just fun vehicles that you could do. And when we look already at the deep cuts that we're getting through Age of the Primes, I mean, somehow Lio Kaiser is totally out of the question, but the 13 that we know very little about. But yeah, but the 13 was in Transformers 1. Yeah, because so many people saw that movie, right? Not throwing shade at the movie. It's one of the greatest Transformer movies of all time. But I'm just saying, you know? But yet somehow Prima and Liege Maximo and Nexus Prime and all of these other ones are just as well known as Lio Kaiser. Lio Kaiser has been in way more material. Lio Kaiser has been a trademark, and all those individual limbs have been trademarks for over a decade internally with Hasbro all this time. So something like Road Caesar, it's just them going like, look, we got to do something for Haslab every year. Hey, we could get people to pay this for something that we normally could put in retail and get them to pay that. That's what it is in a nutshell. It's a little bit of a micro cash grab. It's not a egregious one. It's not like they're asking $500 for an item that should be $270. But at the same time, it does suck when I see that. And as someone who really looks at the nickel and dime of applications and decos and extras and accessories, and oh, we got to put a big fancy box with foil on it and everything. And I mean, I don't know. It alienates a huge portion of the fandom, and I feel sorry for that portion of the fandom because I'm lucky. I have a good paying job as a BMW mechanic. I'm able to buy these things. But there is a lot of Transformer fans that work crappy retail jobs. I used to work as a Burger King drive-through guy. I feel you know, and they won't be able to do this because their entire paycheck barely covers this, you know, especially with the surcharge and everything. So, you know, Snail's World with the $5 super chat. Can you ask someone at Hasbro why we can't get Autobot City with an attachment for Metroplex with Haslab? Stay tuned. Could be an item in the future. I mean, when they're done doing all this Japanese stuff, they're going to have to look at big stuff because look, the Titan class is clearly shrinking. You know, if you know, and again, Star Optimus Prime, you know, Star Optimus Prime makes me just look at what we've been getting as HasLabs and going like, this stuff could be retail. I think there's probably something going on here on a deeper layer that we're not privy to. Transformer products are made 1 to 2 years in advance before we know anything. And it's something where I'm pretty sure they're already, you know, the toy market and what's happening with it and how things are changing, Hasbro stock going down. Hasbro's not dying. We're going to get into that conversation in a moment. But, you know, it's them probably going, look, like if we could get an extra $30 ahead from our hardcore fans, you know, bite the hands that feed you, unfortunately. But, you know, if we could get an extra $30 from the fans and you span that over again, let's pull out the old calculator here. You know, let's say they get as far as just like the stand and everything, right? So you get, what was it, 18? So if it's 18,000 and they get an extra $30 from all of us, that's $500,000, you know? That's more than $500,000. So if they could charge an extra $30 and put $500,000 extra on the books, they don't care, you know? That's just kind of a reality. And again, not throwing shade at the glorious people who worked on this. Those guys are very talented dudes, but when you have those accountant dudes, and I'm a money guy, those guys, man, those accountant dudes, you know. WS, will Road Caesar need extra special tooling for it to have a HasLab? Well, they'll probably do like if you do the 3 core members and then you have the swords, there's not much really you could add to Road Caesar unless the swords are an extra unlockable, which I wouldn't be surprised. The big sword, Road Caesar has a big sword. That'll be the unlockable. That'll be like the bigger tier. And then a stand will be part of that tier. And I don't know. I don't know, Yuki-kun and a different Holly repaint will be a part of that tier. I don't know, or more MicroMasters. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah, 18K. If I'm saying, I'm just saying the 30 extra dollars that they'd be charging. Think about it. At the full 300 price point, yeah, you get 5.4 million dollars, and then that extra $30 that they charge adds an extra, you know, it adds an extra to that. What did I drop there? Oh, drop Rhinox that I was messing with today. So we'll see. We will see. I mean, am I getting it? Yeah. But number one, I could afford it. Number two, I love the characters. But I feel bad for people that can't afford it. That for them, it's an entire paycheck. For them, it's a grocery bill. For them, it's, you know, it's paying rent. Like I feel sorry when they do that kind of stuff. And it's a shame because those are the fans that have been ride or dying for you guys forever. And I've been blessed. I'm lucky, but a lot of people, you know, don't have the same financial economy that to flourish in. And, you know, as a Canadian, this thing is going to cost me a ton of money because the shipping is going to be more expensive. The exchange rate, I think it comes to like $500. Like that's easily a paycheck for someone who's working a Burger King. Easily. That's a 2-week paycheck here in Canada. Easily. You know? Crazy. Absolutely wacky. But, you know, before that we were buying, Combiner Wars box sets for like $100. So it is what it is. I didn't want to go too long on it, but it's something where, you know, if you don't care about this character, don't let FOMO get in on you. Use that money wisely in your life. If you do love this character like I do, sure, get it. Love it. Enjoy it. We're going to get Death Cobra. We're going to do high fives together under the table. Giggity. You know, like it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're all going to be hyped together. But if you don't need it, guys, don't get it. That's an extra like $400 when everything's said and done with taxes that you could put elsewhere in your life. And you don't need to feed the machine that, unfortunately, in some cases, don't really care about your wallet, you know? And I love Evan. I love Mark, you know? Those are great dudes, very talented dudes. But I don't trust companies, you know? And I don't trust the money guys in companies, you know? And it's something where that kind of stuff I don't like. I don't like the disrespect that it's done to fans. So it is what it is. Zach Librand with the $5 super chat. Mark said at the panel that the Japanese designers add tooling to Perceptor for the 3-pack to make him bigger. Oh, really? Okay, that should be interesting then. I mean, that Perceptor was pretty good to begin with. That Studio Series 1. That's kind of a shame, though. Then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of some Studio Series releases. Then it kind of just, it kind of makes them not as needed. Oh, Ben said it. Oh, Ben BMAC was there. I didn't know BMAC was also there. Devastator looks far better, and the sad thing is Devastator has probably just as much parts and pieces, and is $70 cheaper. So it's like that's not cool, man. Don't do that to your fans. Don't do that to your fans. Like that's they're the ones that are still here for you. Kids don't care anymore about this stuff, so don't do that to your fans. It is what it is. It is what it is. So then, let's get into sponsorship. We'll take some more questions from the fans. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to ask some stuff about everything going on here. I'll tell a little story too about working on Combiner Wars Lio Kaiser back in the day, because that's a fun one, which talks about how I know so much when it comes to trademarking and everything, because that was an ultimate example of that in a lot of ways. And we'll show some cool stuff that we got in the mail. I want to give a shout out to some fans and stuff too that sent some cool stuff. But yeah, first let's get into some sponsorship. Of course, Symbiote Studios. I'm rocking their old Flesh Eater shirt. I love this one. I don't know. I always wear this shirt. I dig it. I went shopping today with it. It's really cool. But Symbiote Studios plush pins and t-shirts. Go check me out, symbiotestudios.com. We're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con rocking it out. Rudy Mack. Oh, we got some gifted subs. Rudy, were you Mr. Tankies all this time? Were you Mr. Tankies all this time, Rudy Mack? Who got the subs? Let me see. We got Clint, Knockoff Noise, Brian Spider, Mario, Moonim, Mano. Oh, Big Bot Bodega. He got it. What's up, Big Bot Bodega? He got one. Very cool. But Symbiotes, thank you for the gifts, and everyone I'm sure is going to be very thankful too. Symbiote Studios is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. And I'll be there with them. We're going to be rocking out. By the time San Diego Comic-Con rolls around, I'll have a very big announcement in relation to some stuff I'm working on. Probably, I don't want to speak too much of it. So, long story short, you guys heard about like Japan trips and everything and like that. I'm going to be working on a major brand as a writer and fiction controller and stuff and everything for a major brand, huge brand. It's a dream, and it's a robot brand. That's all I'm going to say. So stay tuned for that. That's going to probably maybe be announced maybe by the end of this month publicly, and then you're going to be seeing more about it as the months pass because nothing won't be launching until June, July, August. Stay tuned for that. Proto Man's been busy. He's been busy doing the side gig, fixing cars and then writing the history and stories and of robots. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to be at Symbiote Studios, um, rocking out with those guys. And I want to tease you guys with what I'm doing, but I can't. I can't. I'm under NDA right now. Yeah, I'm doing the Zybots. Bigum figured me out. I'm doing the Zybots reboot. That's what I'm doing. The big Zybots reboot. I sat down with Bandai and we're like, we got to make this happen. You know what's up. Um, but either way, so Symbiote Studios again, check out their cool stuff. We got a whole bunch of stuff planned for 2025. Uh, we're gonna reveal them probably over the next couple of weeks. Right now, all the Symbiote Studio guys, they're on the other side of the globe in Asia doing some business and everything. So when they get back, we're going to be doing some more reveals of new plush, new pins, and everything like that. So stay tuned, of course. And of course, their video game ones. And then, of course, their My Little Pony ones that they've been crushing it with. Man, you know what? It's hilarious. So many people have messaged me saying they bought My Little Pony stuff from finding out through me, which is like, really? Wow. Okay. But yeah, so they have a whole bunch of pony stuff that they're doing in 2025. So all great stuff, all great things. Kevin PH Haslab Raiden next. I don't think we're going to see Raiden anytime soon because we just came off of that masterpiece. I mean, I give it 2 years before we see anything Raiden again. Honestly, it's kind of related to something I got in the mail today, though. Um, but yeah, we will see. We will see. And then, of course, in very few, what's the date right now? I'm so bad with dates right now, but time is it? What day? So we have, yeah, in pretty much a month from now, we are going to be at TFcon, LA, which is going to be a hype show. And of course, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Aaron's going to be there too with me. We're going to be rocking out at the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer table, and we're going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff there. Go check out the Toy Armada segment that I did with Aaron talking about the Quintesson, Alpha Quintesson, and Kicker and everything. Go check out the other segments. All great stuff. Again, we're going to be at TFCon LA March 7th to the 9th, although the 8th and 9th is when we'll be at our table. Obviously, on the 7th, I'll just be hanging out around at the bar and stuff. Um, well, we have a panel. I don't know what the panel is yet. I'll be honest with you, full disclosure, but we'll figure out something. We'll put something together for the panel. Probably will be on a Sunday. Usually, it's on Sundays our panel, but be sure to swing by. We'll have some exclusives. We'll have some cool stuff. Aaron's going to have his book for sale. Everything's going to be great. I'm probably going to bring more of the Transformer One trading cards just to sell the ones that people are looking for to complete their sets. I don't know what else I'll bring. I'll see how I feel. But yeah, really cool stuff. Again, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Go if you aren't going to TFCon LA, pick up stuff from his website, archermonster.com/shop, including all of these. I don't know if any of these are still available. He's been putting out a bunch of them now, but most of them are going to be available at TFCon. So we will see. Yeah, Frank Welker was just announced as a guest. Right now, as it stands for TFCon, I think we are up to 25 guests, 26 guests, and it's not done yet. There's still more to be announced. So, and it's quite a stellar lineup. The big one for me is Jeff Bennett is going to be there, who's Johnny Bravo, the Angry Archer, Soundwave from Animated. Uh, I mean, that's a great one. That's a great one. I want to get Aaron Archer, take a photo with Jeff, have the Angry Archer with the actual Angry Archer. That's going to be awesome. So I'm excited to see him and the two Transformer One voice actors. Those are oddly enough, out of all those people, those are the only ones I've never met. So that's really cool. Really, yeah, he's Prowl, of course. Yeah, he was he Fan Zone also? Was he also Fan Zone? So either way, excited to meet him. That's really cool. No, Fan Zone was someone else, I think. So I mean, great, just great. I mean, what a lineup. I always say the LA shows are a headache for me because it's a long trip, but they're always the best ones. They're always the best ones, easily without a doubt. Of all the TFcons, easily the best ones. So, like, if you could make it to TFcon LA, even if you're just doing it for one day, come on down. We'll be there. We'll be hanging out with everybody. It's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely great. The BotCons back in the day when they were in LA were fantastic. There's just something about LA that's just this perfect hub. All the voice actors live around there and the actors, and we always get a really good location. And, because it's the West Coast, some of the Japanese dealers have it easier to fly over and get tables and you get good deals. You know, great stuff. Great stuff. I hope to see you guys there. It's a month away. I'm excited. I'm excited. And Aaron will also be bringing some of his high-end paintings there if you're interested. A lot of really good stuff. Check it out, yo. Check it out, yo. And last but not least, Bin Studios. Go check them out. binstudios.iwarp.com. Pick up a Unicron upgrade kit. Make your one Unicron into two. And you can pick if you want to get the rings, if you want to get the wings, if you want to have which version, this version, that version, any version available. Again, binstudios.iwarp.com. Go pick up some good wings and stuff. Turn your, what is it, $1,300 Unicron now into two. And then you can have both on display. I have my two on display because my Bin Studio set. So check that out. Also, yeah, Mikey and Louie in the chat. Give them some love. Take some sunscreen. You know what? As a Canadian, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I felt Florida is way more brutal on the sun and heat than it is LA. And considering, I mean, what's going to be hilarious, and I was talking about it with Jaws D, like we're literally going to be leaving Montreal in big jackets and winter boots, and we're going to be arriving in LA, and we're going to be like, like what we're going to do. So I'm going to have to figure out something because I don't want to have to bring snowy, slushy winter boots on the plane. I think I'm going to do something where you could rent like a locker at the airport, and I'm just going to like check all that stuff in. I'm going to get to the airport, and then because I don't want to wear my good shoes and the wind, it's a headache. It sucks when you're traveling like two different, vastly different weather conditions. And Montreal, it's salt, it's slush, it's all that garbage. So you don't want to wear your good kicks as you're trying to get to the airport. And you're driving your car, or even if you get an Uber, you still have to walk outside. What are you gonna like wear like bags on your shoes and then you get into the airport? I don't know. I'm gonna figure something out. I used to do it back in the day with BotCon, but I guess I just didn't care back then. You know. But yeah, Mikey and Louie make a Primus Haslab, so we could do that. Yeah, it's true, eh? If we ever do a Haslab Primus, you'll probably figure out some cool kits. Yeah, Florida definitely is way more because I've been to Florida quite a few times for the BotCons and TFcons, and I always feel that that's way more like you're gonna get a tan, you know. Where LA, it's pretty chill. In LA, I've been there, geez, like 2 dozen times, so it's never been hot there. Never been super sunny. Just to answer your question, Kevin, no, it isn't. Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. Florida is a steamy, sweaty heat, even if they are like the same Celsius or Fahrenheit. But because one is a dry heat, you don't feel it. So then, let's talk about what we got in the mail this week and stuff that we picked up also. First, might as well give a shout out to Michael Koo. So Michael Koo sent in the mail because he heard that my wife was looking for this. So thank you, Michael Koo, for sending this in the PO box. The brand new gem from Hasbro and Loyal Subjects. Very cool. She hasn't opened it yet. She's actually questioning if she wants to open it up. Looks very cool though. I mean, I'm not a gem collector, but I mean that's pretty spot on. This is, and again, funny story. This is kind of what Hasbro was planning to do if that movie didn't crap the bed. That gem movie, they were planning to do a whole like doll line and stuff. Pro, do you think they'd ever do a TFcon in Vegas? I could actually answer that one from a different standpoint. So BotCon at one point was thinking about doing Vegas, and they said the one problem is they looked into it because there used to be a Star Trek. Again, this is all coming from I believe it was Pete Sinclair. Uh, they used to do a Star Trek convention in Vegas, and they used to the guys who ran that show used to complain about how expensive it was to run shows in Vegas because think about it this way, right? It's not so much like, for us as attendees, yeah, we fly in, it's not a big deal. But the dealers, you come with a big ass truck and you need to unload all your stuff. Where do you park that truck afterwards on the LA on the Vegas Strip? It's terrible. Las Vegas relies almost 100% on taxi cabs and Ubers and stuff like that. If you got to park, forget about it. Super expensive. And if you find parking, it's probably somewhere very questionable, and then your car's going to disappear in the morning. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's very expensive. Like the logistics of it. It would be fun for attendees, but for the dealers and the people that have to do the logistics, it's going to be a tough one. And then that makes everything expensive, you know? That's why, there's never been New York City conventions. It's the same story. You either do the Jarvis Center or you don't do anything at all. There was a Transformer convention. What was it called? CyberCon. It was done in New York City. They only did one, and then they never did it again because they realized how much of a headache it was. So I think it was CyberCon, something like that, back in like 2002, 2003, something like that. It was in New York City, and it was terrible. And I'm not saying the show was terrible. I'm saying like just the logistics is difficult. There's a lot going on there. When you're unloading and you got to do stuff, it's a headache, you know? Anyways, thanks for the question. But getting back to this, you know, they were planning to do a whole line of dolls, and that movie didn't do well. And so that all got canceled. So it's nice to see Gem back in retail, a Hasbro brand that's alive. Granted, it's licensed out through loyal subjects. So this is kind of how it is. But I mean, look, this is $24.99. It comes with supposedly it comes with like the doll and a whole bunch of extra accessories, and the stand plays the theme song. This is toy product. This is toy product. Affordable toy product. Great stuff. Great stuff. And then Michael also sent me an extra thing of the Transformer stickers. I'm going to take out this one, and I'm going to probably sell these ones at TFcon. But yeah, very cool. Thank you, Michael. I just wanted to get another Megatronus sticker so I could put it on my laptop. Um, I think it was, yeah, I don't think it was Cybertron Con. I think it was CybCon. Yeah, Ninja. I think it was CybCon. Something like that. So got that. Thank you, Michael Koo, for that. So it also this weekend is technically like the precursor to Valentine's Day weekend. Um, so because I think Valentine's Day is on Friday next week. So because Saturday, Sunday doesn't fall on Valentine's Day, the Lego store did this like event where you could come down and you and a significant other could do like a Valentine's Day kind of thing. I don't have it assembled, but they gave out these Valentine for free, these Valentine's Day cards with from their not Bionicle, botanical set. So me and the wifey went and got that. So that was pretty cool. You probably could find a picture of it online. She loves her Lego, so there's that. Um, Now let's talk PO box stuff. So once again, in the PO box, someone sent me this because people are still trolling. I'm not angry. It's kind of cool actually because it has that, it has articulation and everything. But someone sent this. I don't know what you paid for this. There's no sticker on it, but okay. Send me the hot rod. Send me the hot rod. I'll take that one. Whoever you were, okay. Snell Worlds, thank you for joining the chosen one of Primus. Um, yeah, I know. Mikey, Louie, was it you? Was it you guys? Now that it just clicked in my head, was it you guys? No, wait, it didn't come from your area though. They didn't put a name. There was a return address, but I don't want to be a weirdo who's gonna like just hunt down someone's name. But I mean, hey, maybe I'll open it because Funko Pops are meant to be open, despite what Funko collectors would say. It's a red rumble. A red rumble. See, Funko, a red rumble? What is this weirdness? What is this weirdness? Get me, get me that NFT Funko Hot Rod. That's what I want. Why you people keep sending me all the other Funko Pop stuff? Send me that NFT Hot Rod because I don't want to ever pay for an NFT, let alone an NFT that's a physical item there. But whatever. So then these came in the mail. I got a bunch of stuff, and I want to talk about these two. Got this beauty here, MPG 08, the flower of the Raiden Diaclone team, the ever lovely female Yamabuki. Very excited about this. Love my train Transformers. Love fembots. Love fembots that are drawn by Yuki Oshima, Mr. Kissplay. Love fembots that are drawn by Yuki Oshima, Mr. Kissplay, that are trains, that are masterpieces. It's a match made in heaven. Very happy about that one. And then finally got this. Took a little long, but this was the holiday exclusive from Fans Hobby. I'm not a big third party guy, but Turbo Young Punk. They took the Armada Optimus Prime and they turned it into Hot Rod. That was a limited run version. I don't know if there's still any left on their website, but are turned it into like an Energon Rodimus. So I had to pick that one up. Very cool. Finally came in the mail from the other side of the globe. Proto, check your email. We just sent a picture of that. You know what I mean? The physical one. The physical one. Um, yeah, exactly. See, Guillaume, I'm with you. Like the hot rod's like $120. I'm not spending $120 on a Funko Pop, for something that has one piece of articulation. Like I was just ranting about $30 for Lio Kaiser. I'm not. It gets to a point that your money is better spent elsewhere. You know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So yeah, got that stuff more or less. Very, very cool. So gonna be cracking those open. This one I'm gonna probably do a cool photo shoot. I'll do a cool photo shoot because I have like every version of Energon Rodimus because that Energon Rodimus was like the grand return of Rodimus Hot Rod in Transformer toy form because up to that point, like you just had either reissues of the original toy, lucky draws of the original toy, or like a PVC here and there of the original character. That was it. And then like when we had Armada, well, actually, we might as well dial it back a little bit. When we had car robots, robots in the skies, oh, Speedbreaker Sideburn, he has like a hot rod color scheme in his super mode. Okay, kind of cool. And then we have Armada, and it's like, oh, Hot Shot's supposed to be called Hot Rod, and his super mode is going to have a hot rod color scheme. Okay, that's kind of cool. Energon, aka Superlink, gave us the true return of a Rodimus Comboy character. And I mean, you guys aren't going to be able to see. Oh, the figures get in the way, but I like a whole display of those guys. I love Roddy. My Posca painting instructions from Aaron Archer is Energon Rodimus. Very cool character with his flag and everything. He's very cool. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So, yeah, I traded 75 Infinity War Funko Pops for one Mutu Classics Rebel Leader. Well, in my opinion, you won out better, my friend. Tom Laney, find your Hot Wheels yet? Nope. This is all I got. A fan reached out to me saying that they had Optimus Prime, the track fleet one, but I feel bad like asking fans to send me stuff. You have to understand shipping to Canada, forget about it, especially for like a Hot Wheel. Like that, no joke, no joke. Shipping this Hot Wheel would probably cost like $20. No joke. Probably $20 minimum. So like I feel bad when fans like, and no offense, like people go, well, why didn't you give them the $20? Because I ain't paying $20 for a Hot Wheels. Take that Hot Wheels, my friend, sell it to a scalper, go make your money. I rather someone make money than it costs them money. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I love it, but I want people to take care of themselves. Don't worry about me. I'll get an opportunity at some point. I'll go to a convention. Someone will have that Optimus for $5 and I'll buy it for 5 or whatever. Paul with the $5 super chat. Could you have gotten Death Croba as a standalone figure in the main line if he weren't for Lio Kaiser? Well, I mean, come on. How many helicopter Transformers do we have? Tons of them. Hell, didn't we just get a helicopter Transformer that has a Target Master, double Target Master element in that of Spinister? Double Target Masters are two separate plastic engineering entities that could have been, here you go, here's a Breastmaster, helicopter. I mean, this is stuff that can exist. And again, it's not Evan's fault. It's not Mark's fault. It's not Ben's fault. Emily's too new to the team, so it's definitely not her fault. It's not Nate's fault. It's not their fault. None of them. It's the higher ups that are the nickel and dime guys that are like, we got to get more money for our investors and our investor calls and everything. And it's gross. It's gross. It's gross. Mark Morales, I'm holding out on Lio Kaiser. I'll back it. I'll back it later. I think a lot of people do that. A lot of Kickstarters in general. Usually all the action happens in the last 48 hours, so it's no surprise there. Um, the Canadian states of America is wild. Yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive. But what I wanted to talk about before too is with Hasbro, because there was the conversation that was in the chat about them going bankrupt and dying. So they recently, and this isn't 100% confirmed, but the source that I heard it through is very credible. Very, very, very credible. And I don't want to say his name because I don't want to get him in trouble. He's still with the company. But he told me that enough people internally know about this now that it can't be tracked back to him. So they're going to be doing a Magic the Gathering movie. And the conversation is that they're going to be doing it with Legendary Studios, that's in charge of like the Godzilla movies and the Dune movies, which are, that's big news. Like, it's like, because we just heard, okay, they're not going to be doing movies with Paramount anymore. Oh, it's the end of the world. No more Transformer movies. And now, hey, Magic the Gathering is going to be doing a movie with Legendary Studios. So that's a good sign for the future. And he told me that, how that whole conversation even came up was many years ago when Hasbro got the license for Power Rangers, there was already that lingering, hey, there's a Power Ranger movie that was done with Legendary Studios, and yeah, it crapped the bed. It didn't do well. But do you want to continue that relationship? No, we're working with Paramount, and that was that. But the door is open. That the red string of destiny was still held between them. So the fact that it shows that there's going to be something. And Mikey and Louie, yeah, maybe the Magic movie will bomb. Look, the D&D movie didn't do well, but what I'm saying is it creates an opening for a relationship that maybe the next Transformer movie might be done through Legendary Studios. And if you like the Godzilla movies, it gives you an idea of budget, gives you an idea of directors, it gives you an idea of multitude of things, you know? So that is something to keep in mind. That is something to keep in mind for the future. Um, Magic the Gathering is making hand over fist money for Hasbro. And as much as people don't want to admit it, it's keeping the doors open in a lot of ways for different departments because luckily, I'm picking up Pokemon cards here, but these things cost nothing, you know? Like when you think about it, right? Let's just get a card back here. Grab you. Like this, you know, all this cardboard here, they get to charge, use the Pokemon side. They get to charge for 15 of these. They get to charge like $8, you know, which is normally free and thrown out with this. So Magic prints money for them. They do their little collector boosters, you know, collector booster Magic kits that are like $240. Like we're cringing at a Haslab Magic the Gathering people are spending that like water for cardboard. So they laugh to the bank. They laugh to the bank with Magic the Gathering, the whales, as they're called. Yeah, I would love a Brothers War movie. Ashnud, you know what's up with Urza and Mishra. Yeah, I would that if they do anything Magic, it should be a Brothers War movie. But you know they won't. You know they're gonna do Jace, and no offense to Jace, I like Jace, but you know they're gonna do Jace and the Guild Pack. They're gonna do their Avengers movie, their little ragtag crew fighting against Nico Bolas. You know they're gonna do that. It's gonna be Thanos against the Avengers. That's what they want to do. But uh, but yeah, like clearly that opens a doorway for something, and we're talking about this today, but it is something we're going to be talking about later in the future. And Magic the Gathering does make a ton of money, a ridiculous amount of money for Hasbro through their Wizards of the Coast division. So it's something that I just feel they're just fine. If there's something that's dying, it's just that certain brands are not in their best footing. If I had to compare Transformers where we are right now, in my opinion, we're in G2 right now. If I had to compare it to something, as someone who lived through G2, and what G2 was is you're getting the greatest hits updated. You're getting some classic characters and new designs. G2 had great articulation and characters that were old classics and new colors and new schemes and everything. We're in the G2 era. Fiction isn't plentiful or great during the G2 era, although the comic was okay with Simon Furman. And that's kind of it. Comics kind of okay with Simon Furman. Skybound's doing their thing. Um, but otherwise, we're kind of in a transitionary period. Other brands are taking all the money away, whatever those other brands could be, whether it be video games or otherwise. And during G2, it was Power Rangers, and the Marvel guys were really shooting on all cylinders with X-Men and Spider-Man through Toy Biz. They were doing very well too. Super Nintendo was doing great. It was the fighting game boom of, like, let's say Mortal Kombat 2 around that time had just debuted, and Super Street Fighter Turbo, I think Turbo, not Super Street Fighter, but the Turbo one, I think had also debuted around that time. So, oh, Aaron already talked about it. Okay, so he's talking to the same people, maybe. I don't know, but yeah. So hope he didn't say a name, but either way, um, the point is that you know Transformers is in its G2 era. It's not dying, but it's in its a purgatory phase right now, where it's going to take a good fresh look to make things exciting. And when you think about it, right, during that peak time, during, like, let's say Revenge of the Fallen, I'm not saying that the movie's great, I'm saying that the audience was hungry. During that peak time of Revenge of the Fallen, we had fresh ideas coming from the comic books. We had animated as a show, which was a fresh idea. There was a lot of newness that was going on in 2009. We still had a few alternators that were coming out here and there, oddly enough, and vinyl tech even. So we're in that G2 era right now. And what that means is that at some point we're going to leave the G2 era and we're going to enter our Beast Wars era. And what I mean by that is we're going to enter a huge reinvention of the brand that's going to be so radically different than what we're used to that it's going to bring in a new audience, a fresh audience, and it's going to save the brand. Well, not save the brand, but it's going to give the brand a good steroid injection for the future. I wouldn't say Magic's in its G2 era, only because the ridiculous amount of money that people are spending on Magic the Gathering. The pre-release for Ether Drift was uh, this weekend, and I swung by my local LGS, and it was bumping, to say the least. And it was interesting because I don't want to go too much on a Magic the Gathering talk, but their collector boosters were completely sold out. The store couldn't even hold on to them. And collector boosters in Canada are like $400. So you go into a store and they're like, we can't even hold on to these collector boosters. We'll buy your collector boosters, you know? So Magic's in a good place right now. Let's put it that way. And I'm not trying to defend Magic. I'm just calling it as it is. You know, I think the spending is insane, but it is what it is. Jake, everything is Nickelodeon Cartoon Networkified. We have to rely on Takara to make a more anime focused Transformers with cool gimmicks to get things back again. Personal opinion. I agree with you. I agree with you, my man. And Japan is always about reinventing and doing something different. You know, look what they do with Sentai. Look what they do with Godzilla. Look what they do with Ultraman. Look what they do with Gundam. They always do something that's different. You don't always have like if Transformers was Ultraman, it would be the original Ultraman and the Ultra Kyodai, the original brothers. Actually, oddly enough, I have them here on my desk. We'd have these guys over and over and over again, over and over and over again. It would always be this. It would always be like Ultraman, Ultra Seven, Ultraman Jack, Ultraman Leo, Ultraman Taro. Let's go with those five. And you get that over and over and over again, and that would get really old. But instead, every year they introduce a new one, a new main character, a new lead, a new cast, new this, fresh every single time. And that's how you keep a brand alive. You got to keep it fresh. But Japan gets that because Japan, they're very like to the number when it comes to a rollover of doing something new. And they know when things get stale, you could hurt something and you could hurt a brand. But they have a long game mentality. They're smart. Always give it to them. They're much more of a long game mentality. Unfortunately, with us, and it's a reality, people come into companies, they want to make as much money as they can, and then boom, they're working for another company. You know, and I hate to say it, there's a lot of people that work at Hasbro in very important money positions that weren't with that company 5 years ago, including its CEO, you know? So I'm just saying. Kevin PH with the $5 super chat. The question is, will there be a next Beast Wars and if it will ever happen? You know what? I hate to say it, and this is coming from Beast Wars fan number one. Ask Protoman what his favorite Transformer series is of all time. It's Beast Wars. Okay? I think that Rise of the Beasts hurt the Beast flavor. I think the Kingdom Netflix series not doing well hurt the Beast flavor. I think the Beast Wars reissue line selling poorly hurt the Beast flavor. The Kingdom toy line sold well, but the Kingdom toy line also had a lot of other G1 flavored stuff in there. So I think that those are three strikes right there that make them go, we're still going to do Beasts, but I don't think we're going to make Beasts the entire subject. We're always, if we do have Beast Wars again, we'll still have some G1 guys pop up or something. So, but that's just my take. Rise of the Beast broke even. Kingdom as a show on Netflix got terrible ratings, and again, anyone who knows the sea of rat traps and Tigatrons and everything of the reissues that were selling so poorly. I think right now I'm seeing like just tons of wolf fangs, which by the way, fantastic toys. If you could get a wolf fang for $5 at Ollie's, pick it up. It's a fantastic figure, but no one's buying it. Although I think K9 is slightly better. I German Shepherd. I have a little bit of a bias. Mark Morales with the $5 super chat. Hear me out. I'm hearing you out, Mark. An interesting idea would be Transformers show without any Optimus or Megatron outside of Japan. It's a stretch, but not impossible. Well, that's just it. When they did Transformers Victory, it did okay. It didn't do great, but it did okay. And that was like I feel like Victory was the true departure of that because you could argue that in Headmasters, while Rodimus was leader at some point and Fort Max was leader for most of it, and Chrome Dome really was the focus element, Optimus was still a part of the show, even if it was only like the first 4 episodes. You could argue that in Master Force, yeah, there was no Optimus Prime and there was no Megatron, but you look at Goto Jinrai, you look at Super Jinrai, you look at Jinrai, that's an Optimus, it's Optimus in design, obviously not the character, but I'm saying like visually, it's Super Convoy, as they call it in some regions. So I just think I just think that it's something where I would like them to take a risk. I would. Look, Beast Wars, as much as it was a huge departure, it still was an Optimus and a Megatron. But do something different. Stop with the tank and the gray and the gun and the truck and the do Optimus Prime turns into a bat and Megatron turns into a crocodile and just go off the walls or turn into a bull. What's happening with Cyber World? Come on. Come on, Cyber World. What's happening? But yeah, that's the way that I could see it, you know? I want Japan, honestly, I'm with you, Mark. I want Japan to have complete creative control. That's just me. That's just me. You could still have co-development with Hasbro and do stuff together, but I want a little bit of that Unicron trilogy again. I want Japan really going, we're going to steer the ship. Like cuz they're the ones who really, those partners, they know they're businessmen. They're businessmen in the most rawest form, you know? Thank you for the super chat and a good question. Twins Corner. Two random questions. I'll try my best. First, do you know if it's possible to get old TFcon shirts? I would actually, you know what? Colin, you should probably email. He'd probably love to hear that. People want old TFcon shirts. Honestly, email the convention, uh, tfcon at tfcon.ca. That should be the main email and ask about old shirts. I would not be surprised if Colin has old shirts in storage. And I'm sure he'd be more than happy to sell you the old shirts because those are always tough to sell. And the second question is, why was Scott McNeil absent from conventions for a bit? Honestly, I don't know. I was hearing that he was taking a step back a little bit from conventions after running hard. Let's be real. Scott McNeil has probably been doing more conventions than any human being on the planet. Scott McNeil would do like 5 to 6 major conventions a year, and he's been doing that nonstop since 2001. Okay. So 24 years of just, I'm going to do Anime North. I'm going to do, Texas Anime Con. I'm going to do SDCC. I'm going to do like a TFcon. I'm going to do BotCon. Like he's just been running hard. And I love Scotty, but Scotty is a old, worn out guy. And I say that in the most respectful way. He is just worn out. He is tired. He is smoking his cigarettes. He is wearing his cowboy hat. And I love Scott McNeil. He's the voice of some of my favorite characters of all time: Proto Man, Piccolo, Dinobot from Beast Wars, Duo Maxwell from Gundam Wing. If you watch dubs, although I watch the subtitle version, but Jimmy Lee from Double Dragon, Ken from Street Fighter, the animated series. Like Scotty is amazing. I love Scott McNeil to death, but he's tired, and I don't blame him. He's been running hard for a very long time. So I don't know if he's completely out or if he's just taking a sabbatical or whatever, but I'd understand it. I mean, here's a bit of a reality. Scott McNeil has been doing conventions 8 times longer than Frank Welker has been doing conventions. Okay. So, and Frank Welker's supposed to be the grizzled veteran. So just to give a bit of a reality there. So I hope that answers that. Maybe we'll see Scotty at the next TFcon. The good thing is, Scotty, if he would be at a con, he'd be at a Canadian one because he lives in Vancouver, so it's so much easier for him. Unless we do like a TFcon West Coast, West North, on the border of, you know, Vancouver. But hope that answers that. Kevin PH with the super chat question. Hold on, let me just, I want to make sure I miss anything. Kevin PH with the super chat question. I didn't mean using Beast Wars cast again, but there's another big hit for Transformers. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not even a matter of using the Beast Wars cast. I think they just, beasts in general, from Hasbro's perspective, have had a sour taste. Like the Rise of the Beast toy line didn't sell well outside of Studio Series. Like there's too many things that if you go animals and then you look at the numbers, like if you're like, again, Hasbro's a business, they're going to do it by the numbers. What's the business numbers on it? Well, the Rise of the Beast movie broke even. That's a -1 for you. That's not a +1, that's a -1. The Kingdom Netflix series got the worst ratings, and that's the one that had beasts in it. It's a -1. The Rise of the Beast toy line didn't sell very well. It all ended up on clearance. That's a -1. And I could go on and on. It's like the Beast Wars reissue line that we really stood behind and reissued a ton of Beast Wars product from the back in the day. That didn't make any money. It all ended up in ollies and clearance. That's a -1. So it's not looking good. Like it's like, oh yeah, but the Kingdom toy line did well. +1 against 4 -1s. Not looking good. Canadians are all in the chat. Do we have Canadians in the chat? We have a Canadian in front of you. Where are we at? Jake, bro, I've been doing it for years. Maybe it's night and finished my people talking about their shifts. I don't blame them. Gooter, the Kingdom portion of War for Cybertron on Netflix wasn't bad because of the beast. It was bad because of the writing. Well, I am not going to disagree with you there, Gooter. I think it didn't do as well. But again, when you're looking at numbers, like the people at Hasbro don't know about, oh, the writing wasn't good. It didn't have these characters and everything, or the animation wasn't good. They're just going to look at what did well and what didn't do well. I mean, that's the primary reason why you'll have a really bad movie. But if everyone saw it in theaters, they'll do a sequel, even if the movie is terrible. Like if people look, no offense to people who love Revenge of the Fallen, but Revenge of the Fallen made over $1 billion. And no one ever said, wow, that movie was so bad, we shouldn't do a sequel. They just look at the numbers and they go, well, we're going to do even more, you know? So it didn't stop nobody. Mike Prime, 21 Proto, you didn't mention the Studio Series 86 Commander 2-pack in the segment. Was that because it wasn't much of an update? Which Studio Series 86 Commander 2-pack you talking about? You're talking about the Devastator? Well, we knew about that a while back. We knew about that Commander 2-pack. That's nothing new, really. I mean, we knew about the 2-pack. We saw the box before through Evan when he did that standalone segment during New Year's. So that wasn't really news per se. But I mean, yeah, we have the 2-pack. It has some extra stuff in there. It's going to be $89.99 at the Commander price point. So there you go. Snell's World, Peter Cullen loved my wife's eyes watercolor painting. Hey, Peter's an awesome dude, though. I love Peter. Peter's from Montreal. What? Just like me. Optimus Prime and Super Mario, because he was the first Super Mario, was from Montreal. Guillaume says, Saint Jean de Richelieu. Me, it's Montreal. I'm a city slicker. And the beautiful, most amazing city that is Montreal. Jake had to watch the show at 1.5 speed. I only learned recently that people do that. They sit through shows at 1.5 speed. I would never be able to do that. Because me, it's all about the music and the voice acting and everything. You put it at 1.5 speed, doesn't that all get like thrown under the bus? Now you can't listen to the soundtrack. It's not there. Mike Prime 21, just curious, as we got to see better look instead of just the social media posts. Wasn't sure in your opinion. No, I think Devastator is great. I think it's a natural evolution of what we got from the Titan class. The Titan class was big, bulky, simplistic, and people. If you're going to do a Studio Series Combiner 86, obviously it's going to be Devastator. I think it looks great. I kind of dig the extra pieces. Like clearly, I forget who it is. I think it's Shusan that worked on Devastator. Correct me if I'm wrong. But figuring out those extra elements to work with like his original Devastator had kibble. Combiner Wars Devastator had kibble. How do we work the kibble in where it's fun, where it's an extra piece and an extra element? And not to mention figure out ways that extra kibble could be used for repaints and retools later on. So I'm totally for Devastator. And again, it's all retail prices. I'm not going to complain about Devastator's price when stuff is Commander class price point, Voyager class price point, and Deluxe class price point. I'm not getting ripped off. I'm getting opportunities to purchase it. It's going to have a good secondary market. They said they're going to make sure that these items are on the shelf longer, so it won't be subjected to scalping as much. Fantastic. Oh no, we have 1 minute left. Is there anything else I got to show you guys? Just want to make sure I didn't forget anything. Everything should be upstairs. Butters, what do you think? Butters, are we forgetting anything? We'll show Butters on the couch. I don't want to screw up the camera too much. There's Butters. Butters, did we forget anything? No? He's chilling over there. I always don't want to move the camera too much. It'll get messed up. But yeah, I think Devastator's great. Look, and going back to good old, we'll pull up the last slide here that we had. Going back to Lio Kaiser, I think Lio Kaiser is great. It's a dream item for me for who's a guy who loves the Japanese Transformer stuff, but the price is a little bit of it's a splinter in your foot. It's not a rusty nail through your foot that you gotta go to the hospital and get a tetanus shot. It's a splinter in your foot, meaning you'll survive, but it's annoying with every step. And it's something where I'm so glad that Hellbat, that Death Cobra is there. Death Cobra is what if sells me over and goes, you know what? I'm willing to pull the trigger. But if you can't afford it, if the character doesn't speak to you, save your money. There's better stuff on the horizon. Go get yourself an awesome masterpiece figure or something. You know, this beauty right here was like 100, I think $110. You know, like get yourself a good masterpiece or something. There's so many other great Transformer product that like $300 in the Transformer world gets you a lot of really cool stuff. $300 in the TFcon dealer room with the loose figures and baggies and stuff gets you a lot of great stuff. So always think about that, you know? Always think about that. And we'll take one last super chat because Jake, am I saying your name right, Jake? Because I'm thinking Jay with a K at the end. I don't know. I hope I'm saying it right. Sorry, Proto. I mean the Netflix show line were said so slowly that I had to increase the playback. Oh, it's true. You know what? I think it was Gary Chalk that he said he wasn't a fan of the voice acting either. He said something about it. And I mean, come on, how did you not? I know there's the unions and stuff, the voice actor unions, that's why they couldn't get the original Beast Wars cast. But how do you like those guys are available, man? You know, it's one thing like, oh, you know, to get some of the older guys is difficult, but Scotty is still working, Gary is still working. David K is still working. Ian Corlett is still working. They're doing anime, which is the lower rate. So you could have got these guys, but then it's unions, and then unions don't want to work with Netflix because Netflix doesn't do, what's it called there? Where you get a check in the mail every 3 months. Commissions or not commissions, compensations, or I forget what it's called. My brain is tired right now. I'm hungry, and it's almost 10 o'clock. But like it's like they don't want to have to deal with that because then they don't get anything. Where Beast Wars, if Beast Wars is playing on TV today, Gary's still going to get a check in the mail. And yeah, sure, it might only be 50 cents or $5, but still, these guys deserve to get their money's worth for their work. Residuals. Thank you, Gooter. Thank you. My brain is tired right now. And people are asking, Proto, what is for dinner? When we went shopping today, after we went to the Lego store, which I'm going to build this later. Well, the wife will build it. I'm not going to build it, but she got some other Lego stuff too. She got some Animal Crossing. There's a new poly bag with Julian's painting party from Animal Crossing. She picked up that, and she picked up a Spider-Man Venom 2-pack one poly bag. She picked up that too. That's what she got, but that's upstairs. Um, but what we're having for dinner, we went to Walmart, and like Walmart once in a while they have like instant easy food stuff. They had the what are they called there? Oh my god, why am I blanking? Man, it shows how tired I am. I'm even blanking on what I bought to eat. The shawarma, not the shawarmas. Oh my god, what are they called? I wish you could yell it from the other room right now. Samosas. We bought a whole bunch of their samosas, so we bought that, and I also bought like two nice like ribeye steaks. So we're gonna have the ribeye steaks with the samosas. It's gonna be good stuff. It's gonna be good stuff. Not the rotisserie. I would know the rotisserie chicken. Actually, when I get a rotisserie chicken, I get the Costco one. But we didn't go to Costco today. What's going on with Costco with eggs? Did you see that video there? I mean, it didn't happen here in Canada. We're okay with eggs. We have our own supply of eggs from our own chickens. Shish taouk. Oh God, I would have loved to have some shish taouk. But anyways, but we got the samosas. We got two of their little samosas there with the chutney, so we're gonna have that. Uh, next, yeah, Friday's Valentine's Day. We're gonna do something special for Friday. We got something special. We're thinking Korean, nice Korean barbecue maybe, but we'll see. We will see. Originally, what we wanted to do for Valentine's Day, we were thinking of taking a little trip across the border, but that's not going to happen. We're too busy with other stuff. But we're gonna do something nice, and I hope everyone else does something nice. Again, we are done more or less tonight. Again, thank you for all the love and support, everybody. No, we went to the Lego store in what do you call it, in the West Island, because that's the quietest one to go to. Because you had to sign up early for these. So if we went to the Lego store near downtown Montreal, that would have been sold out. So we went to the one in the West Island in Dollard because there's obviously less people there, and yeah, there were still some left. So yay, and it's free. So double yay, good price. So she was happy. But yeah, thank you for all the love and support, everybody. It was a great live stream. Again, thank you for letting me know about your opinions of Lio Kaiser, Gattai. Um, and yeah, I hope that everything works out. Again, if you want to continue supporting the podcast, we got the Patreon down below. That's the best way to support the podcast. You want to be like those beautiful green names. Instead, hit that join button. You could join the YouTube membership. Patreon gives you the Discord and gives you access to different things. The YouTube membership gives you the questions and the access to that stuff there. But again, thanks again, everyone. We peaked at about, geez, I think we had like at one point 203 people today. So good live stream. Great people, great fun. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday night with your friends and families and loved ones. I'm starving. My stomach is growling. Butters is knocked out. Let's wake him up. Butters. He's out cold. He's tired. He's tired of hearing me talk. So I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna grab something to eat and just enjoy the rest of my evening. Play some video games. I want to play. I'll tell you what I'm thinking of playing. Remember that game that didn't do well on the Nintendo Switch, Starlink? Remember that one? Not the Elon Musk Starlink. There was a game called Starlink. I'm thinking of picking that up and getting like all the ships and everything because they're so cheap now. And I think I'm going to play that because I love Star Fox. So I'm going to try to play some Starlink. Going to get my hands on that. Been eyeing it. But yeah, I'm going to go play some video games and eat. Bon souper, Daniel. Thank you, Guillaume. Merci. I am out of here. Take care, everyone. And as always, roll out.